All right, as we wait to see if anybody else shows up here. Tonight's basically going to be an open studio night. I have the link to the studio up in the comment section right there, up in the chat. So if you want to come in and you know, we can just talk about niche, whatever comes to mind, whether that's anime, cartoons, comics, manga, pro wrestling. With it being today being Thanksgiving, I know a lot of people. There probably isn't a whole lot of stories going on, anyways. Might not be a lot of articles to go through, anyways, to begin with. But also, um, I know, with it being a holiday, people are probably not going to be as much to be about since they want to spend time with their families. But anyways, you got the touch. You got the power, yeah. You got the touch through the eyes of the storm. Do, 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 do. You got the touch. You got the power, yeah. Through the eyes of the storm. Do, do. No one will know that you need it or not. No one will know, but you're better enough. You got the touch. You got the power, yeah. Through the eyes of the storm. No one would know what you needed to know. No one will know, but you're never enough. You got the touch. Looks like we have two people in here. You got the power, yeah. Hello. I see there's a second person in here. If you would like, just click the link above and you can actually join me in the studio tonight. Tonight's going to be kind of an open mic, kind of niche bowl session where we're just going to talk about whatever pops in our head. Anybody and everybody's welcome to try to studio. It's a 10, from what I understand, it's a 10-person maximum capacity. So, but if you'd like to join me in the studio and we can start talking about if you have any questions about any particular anime, cartoons, comics, manga, pro wrestling, we have three people in here now. Yay, three people. Guys, I have so for everybody, wow, it's getting going here. So, all right, guys, as you can probably see in the chat there, I do have the link to the studio if you guys would like to join me in the studio and we can, talk about um, we can talk about anything niche, anime, manga, cartoons, comics, pro wrestling. So all you gotta do is just click the link, and then you'll probably be shifted in the studio here, and I'll have you bring you on. Making a big to do about this Christmas. Making a big to do about it all. Coming up, Making a big to do about this Christmas. Making a big to do about it all. It's our favorite time of the year. And that mistletoe feeling, it's our favorite time of the year. And if you guys can, of course, if you guys can like and share the stream, that would help. See if we can get some more people in here. Um, Still waiting to see if anybody will take me up on my offer to come into the studio with me. And even if you guys can't, you guys can still communicate with me via chat as well. Um, I will usually be pretty good to answer the chats pretty quickly. The link's right there. So if you guys want to check out, want to come into the studio, that link right there will that link at the bottom there will bring you into the StreamYard studio. Now you can just bring you right in, and we can just start chatting it up. Um, so, how was your Thanksgiving, guys? Hopefully you had a good day today with your families and stuff like that. Had some good eats and stuff like that. Of course, there's a number of things you could talk about, including Thanksgiving specials that you've watched over the years. Of course, we're coming up on the Christmas season too, so I'm sure you guys are thinking Christmas specials as well already. Um, yeah, and as I said, the link to the studio is open if guys would like to join me in the studio to chat it up. Making a big to do about this Christmas. Making a big to do about it all. Yeah, so hopefully, as I said, your Thanksgiving went well today. Hopefully, you had a good time with your families. I have four people in here. Hello, fourth person. As you can see, that I have the link up to the studio. If you'd like to join me in the studio to chat it up a bit, you know, um, there it is, right there. And they left again. Oh well. Uh, so yeah, let's see. Well, as I'll at least try to get started here by talking about something. Yeah, I had dinner with my family a little while ago. You know, um, we had turkey, string beans, and all the good stuff, mashed potatoes, stuffing, yams, cranberry sauce. It was all pretty good. Biscuits. Hopefully, you all had a very good evening with your families as well. Um, let's see. I know that PBS was airing, decided to take up the mantle of airing the Charlie Brown holiday specials this year, since for the first time in a very long time, the networks had decided to nix that idea. They put it over on Netflix, and got a lot of people upset about it. So, hmm, I'm not even getting people even chatting yet. Got three people in here, and you guys are pretty. I guess I got a couple of shy ones here, a couple of lurkers, but that's cool too. And figure out ways to either strike up a conversation or talk about stuff. I know with coming into the Christmas season, of course, it reminds me of one of my all-time favorite Christmas specials, Yogi's First Christmas. I pretty much grew up watching that. I was like 5 years old when that one came out. Um, watching Yogi discover the joys of Christmas, and now we're down to two people. Yeah. I know. Again, tonight was just planned for an open mic night for anybody who wanted to come in and join me. So that's why I do have. If you stick around to the end, I will have my niche this day niche history. So you have that to look forward to, even if you don't want to jump into the studio here. Um, let's see now. Yeah. So do you again? And if you don't want to come in the studio, that's fine. Just chat. You can also just chat. Chat. At least give me something to respond to. If you have any questions, or you have any questions about any particular anime, cartoon, comics, manga, or wrestling, I'll try to answer it. If I don't have that answer off the top of my head, I'll look it up for you. Um, I know. I know you may have heard that Kirby Morrow, Canadian voice actor, passed away last week. Very sad thing at the age of 47. And at least as far as I know, we still don't have, they still haven't determined the cause of death. So guess we're still kind of waiting on that. Double check that again. Let's see. Ain't a big to do about Christmas. Yeah. Still they haven't come across, they still haven't released circumstances of his death. Uh, let's see now. I know this last week I talked quite a bit about cartoons more than anything else, and Animaniacs has been making a lot of news with with it coming to Netflix, doing that revival series. It's already gotten some heat over the Johnny Depp meme. Um, People are wondering if this version is going to go more woke. Um, so that's been talked about a lot. You know, I did read an article yesterday on here about how '90s animation may have influenced some of the DC and Marvel Comics movies that came out in the '90s and 2000s. Spider Man, does whatever a spider can, spins a web any size. Can't you see? Just like flies, look out! There goes a Spider Man. Is he strong? Listen up. He's got radioactive blood. Can he swing overhead? Take a look overhead. Hey there, there goes the Spider Man. In the chill night, at the scene of a. Hey, TC. How you doing, man? You're just lurking tonight? I have the link up if you want to come in and join me in the studio. Um, we can just talk niche. He arrives just in time. Spider Man, Spider Man, friendly neighborhood Spider Man. Action is his reward to him. Life is a great big hang up. Wherever there's a hang up, there goes Spider Man. Hopefully, we can get some more people in here. Maybe some people in the studio here to come in and chat it up. Give me a sec while I go off. It looks like somebody left us again. Yeah, ATC, I know that. Wow, we got 4 people in here now. Yay, 4 people. So as you guys know, I do have the link to the studio up. If you guys would like to join me in the studio here. Have no thanks. I working on projects, so I cannot work on projects. Okay, I'm working on projects, so I can't work on projects next week. Okay, I understand. Um, I guess I understand. It's a little disappointing, but yeah. But the link is up there if you want to still join me. If you decide, if you change your mind, it's there. So I know you had yours. You probably had your Thanksgiving last month. So I guess today is just another day for you, huh, ATC? Oh, we're up to 6 people already. So just a reminder, everybody, that if anybody would like to join me in the studio to talk niche and stuff like that, the link is right there in the comment section. If you want to just come on in, and then I'll of course bring you into the studio. Now we're down to 5 again. Um, just to hang out. You can ask me. You can ask me any questions you want. On it, any in any realm of niche, including anime, cartoons, comics, manga, pro wrestling. If I'll try to answer. If I don't have the answer off the top of my head, I'll look it up for you. Um, so we got 5 people in here now. And if you guys can like and share the stream to see if get the algorithm up and see if we can get some more people in here. That'd be appreciated as well. Um, oh yeah. So aside from working on your projects there, ETC, how's everything else going for you today? Do you have a good day? I know today, I think is, I guess, just another day because your guys' Thanksgiving up there in Canada was last month, if I recall. So don't know. And from what I understand, you guys don't celebrate it in the same exact way we do here in the States. But hopefully, you had a good day, anyways. Hopefully, all went well for you. Um, when Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who oppose his shield must yield. In the red and the white and the blue it comes true when Captain America throws his mighty shield. Action! Toys! Channel! Action! Toys! Channel! Tony Stark makes you feel he's a cool exec with the hottest wheel. As Iron Man, all jets aflame, he fights and fights with repulsor rays. Amazing power, it's Iron Man. Amazing power, it's Iron Man. Doc Bruce Banner, belted by gamma rays, turned into the Hulk. Ain't he just gamma ray? Wrecking the town with the powerful, ain't so monster. Who isn't lovable? The ever loving Hulk. Hulk, Hulk. Cross the rainbow bridge of Asgard, where the blooming heavens roar. Well, behold, incredulous wonder, the god of thunder, mighty Thor. Stronger than a whale, he can swim anywhere, he can breathe underwater, go flying through the air. Lonely submariner, prince of the deep, so beware of deadly demons. Lord Namor of Atlantis is the prince of the deep. So just in case you guys are wondering, a lot of those songs that I just sang that came about Marvel comic characters, we actually, hello, look like we had somebody here. Hello, hey toys, you decided to join me after all, huh? Hello, toys, can you hear me?
Hey there.
Hey, Bill.
You had me until my headset dies. Yeah, I hear you.
Hey, how you doing, man?
It's been a day.
It's been a day, huh?
Doing a big project. Yeah,
Oh,
trying
you've
to
been doing
finish
a lot of
a
big.
big project. I'm doing um Yeah. Working on a Anti-Attorney He-Man set. It comes with an Anti-Attorney of Battle Cat. Um, and today I just finished. I'm finishing off the armor for Battle Cat,
Ah,
and tomorrow I'm doing the armor for He-Man.
okay.
Or tomorrow I'm doing the armor
Yeah,
for He-Man. So
I watched that one
it
video.
it'll be neat.
Yeah, I watched that one
Yeah.
video where you said you gave a shout out to me and Batgoat. So that does look like some pretty good work there. So
Oh, I thank you. I try.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Those songs I was just singing were from um were from the '60s Marvel cartoon shows that were actually done by Grant Ray Lawrence animation, which actually is based up near where you're at. It's based up out of Toronto. It's back in the '60s there. The Spider-Man series from '67 and the Marvel superhero shows from '66. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
No. I'll be honest, my memory hasn't been much lately. My wife has to remind me to do a lot of things lately, so.
hmm. Yeah, as I was saying, I know that you probably all had your Thanksgiving a month
Oh,
ago. So
Thanksgiving?
I yeah, because today it's Thanksgiving in the States. So I know you guys had your
Yeah.
Thanksgiving probably like a month ago. Um, so today for you is pretty much just another day then, huh? Boys, your headset die on you again? Well, I can still hear you breathing at least.
Yeah, pretty much just another day. Though on Twitter I noticed Facebook or not Facebook. Oh my gosh. What do you call it? Twitter, YouTube was promoting an on Thanksgiving Day. Hmm?
Twitter and YouTube are doing what?
Oh, on Twitter, um,
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is promoting an on Thanksgiving Day.
And on Thanksgiving. Oh my!
Yeah.
Anything to kill traditional America. That just seems
Uh,
anything that is
well,
traditionally American. Oh, let's just completely trash it because that's just a thing to do. We hate America, so let's just trash it.
if you know the history behind Thanksgiving, it's like the true history behind Thanksgiving, you'd understand it. But I'm
Well,
like, no, I don't care.
I know a lot of people attribute it to like the subjugation of the Indians, but if you remember the initial Thanksgiving, the Indians were the ones who were actually ended up helping the Pilgrims to that first winter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What was
So,
going on? What the heck was it? What was going on was Pilgrims landed. They couldn't fend for themselves. They couldn't stand the winter. The First Nations lent them a hand, give them medicines, helped them get up through the winter, and then within one generation, they murdered off that entire people.
hmm.
And then at one point through history, a day of thanks or a day of Thanksgiving was has been recorded every time um, a white settlement, village, or small town had completely wiped out a native population in the area.
Hmm.
So it's like, so I don't really say much. I'm just like, whatever. I just leave, let
Yeah.
people stay in their boat. I'll stay in my boat, and we can both go along our merry way.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I know also wow, I guess the other person decided to drop out as well. Now we're down to two people here. But I knew that today was likely, probably not a lot of people were gonna probably try to come on anyways. I was
Yeah.
hoping by opening up the studio more people would have, especially those who maybe, either don't have families or maybe don't have people they can connect with, that maybe they would have felt like, jumping in and hanging out, we'll talk about whatever, their day
Yeah.
or whatever, just kind of making this kind of a free day, just first off, I knew that chances are there probably weren't going to be a lot of new niche stories out there, anyways. I still, of course, am going to do the niche day in history. This day in niche history. That is always a feature. It's just, you know, but I also
Hmm.
knew with chances are most people were going to probably be with their families and what have you. So and I still am going to try to do Monday through Friday
Yeah.
stream. You know, I'll figure stuff out along the way. Yeah. So, well, let's see. Well, I know again your Thanksgiving is a different, but for your Thanksgiving, were there Thanksgiving specials that you grew up with? You kind of maybe.
I'll be honest, we didn't really sell it. Well, my mom cooked the dinner. TV was off for the day, and the only other thing that happened was my dad drank lots of beer and watched wrestling at that point. So it's not really whole lot we did.
Wait. Let me see if I You said TV was off, but
Yeah,
your
TV
dad
was
watched.
off, and then TV was off after, and then after dinner, Dad would get a get a case of beer, sit down and watch wrestling.
Okay, and then from what I
Yeah,
understand, well, if you guys are, let's see, you're in Ontario, right? And you're in the province
yeah,
of Ontario, right? So that
yeah.
probably, let's see, and you growing up, that would have probably meant your dad would have probably been watching cards, probably from Maple Leaf Gardens, which would have been Maple Leaf Wrestling. Um,
No, he was a good old guy. He pirated all of his stuff as best he could. Growing up, we had one of them giant satellite dish type things in the backyard, and he had like this giant box, and you had to like click through all these like the like G, and you flip over to another set, and you click until it hits like one or something. Then you go from 1 to 100 in channels. And
uh,
then most of it was all blank and white noise until you found something.
ah,
So
so he was actually able to find wrestling programs from other areas, other
yeah,
provinces, other even the states and stuff, huh?
yeah,
So do you
yeah.
have kind of a vague memory of what you guys watched back in those days in terms of the pro wrestling?
Uh, let me let me see. I remember a lot of Hulk Hogan. I remember some Andre. Remember a lot of Ultimate Warrior. I think those were the Road Warrior brothers or something like that. The ones with the spiky shoulder armor.
Oh, the Road
I
War,
remember
yeah, Road
them.
Warriors Legion. So it
Yeah,
sounds like you got a lot of WWE programming. Oh, actually,
yeah.
actually, it looks like we have somebody else here in the
Good looking
Mike.
honky.
Mike,
Haha.
good looking hunky. Mike Peter North here, old adult film star. Happy Thanksgiving. Well, thank you. Okay. Um, we don't talk as much about adult films, if at all. But if you want to come in and join the conversation, the link's up top there. Um, right there. So if you want to come in and join the conversation, we talk like niche stuff like like anime, cartoons, comics, manga, pro wrestling. So, want to join? You're more than welcome to. So,
The more
if
the
not,
merrier.
you're still welcome to listen in and hang out. And if you have any questions on any of those niche topics, I'll be glad to try to answer them for you if I can. If I don't have the answer off the top of my head, I'll go ahead and try to look it up for you. So, um, it's okay. Laugh out loud. Good man. And also, Peter, if you can like and share the stream, that would help too. See if we can get some more people here. And I think he just left because it looks like I just went back down to two people.
Oh, that
Um,
sucks.
oh, that's
Oh, I
okay.
shared it out on my Twitter. I think I shared it out on my Facebook. I can't
Yeah.
remember.
Well, I've been sharing videos not just on my Facebook but also on Parlor. I don't know if you've heard of
Oh
Parlor.
yeah. Yeah, I've heard of it. I was
Steve,
gonna sign up for it, but I wasn't sure about it because I'm just starting to get some momentum out on the tube. So I was like, I don't know.
well, Parla is a good place if you have more of a conservative mindset. So,
Oh,
excuse me a moment while I go off camera here.
okay. So, well, Mike's gone, guys. I'm gonna say, hey, go check out the Action Toys channel. It's a great place to go if you want to be entertained. Great place to go if you want to see how to fix old vintage toys. Shameless self promotion.
I love that here. Hey, ATC, granted, we only have one other person here, but why don't you tell them a little bit more about what you do on your channel?
Oh, so the things I do on my channel, I fix vintage toys. Currently, I've kind of pigeonholed myself into fixing a lot of He-Man toys. I currently have over 100 figures that I have repaired myself. I've recently started 3D printing my own figures, making models and making accessories and repair stuff. I just recently made my very own Action Toys He-Man stands, which I guess I should make a store for at some point.
Hmm. Now you're just doing this as a hobby. You're like you don't have people like coming in to like have you try to repair some of their He-Man toys, or right? Or
Actually, no, but I wouldn't say no. Actually, Mr. Hop, he asked me to fix a Gen 1 Transformer he said he had, and I said okay.
okay.
He hasn't got back to me about it, so I was like, okay. Figured he might want to just try and keep his childhood toy to himself. Yeah.
Now I know we were talking about the wrestling a few minutes ago.
Hmm.
Um, and I know you said that your father pirated, I guess I guess at the time it would have been WWF
Yeah.
programming.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, we're close enough to the border. I'm like an hour away from New York, so we could probably heck was it? We watched some heck was it World Championship Wrestling too. Um, yeah,
what years would you say this is all happening?
I don't remember. I remember growing up, going over to the thing, going over to the machine, turning it to was it channel 0, then clicking through the other dial up to channel 46 or 47 or something like that, and then
Mm.
playing with the little turnstile thing on the clicker, and then it would fade in and out, and we'd get a better reception that way.
Well, because if I knew, I
um,
could I could probably get an idea what you probably could have had. Well, you were saying you even got a chance to watch some WCW too, but
yeah,
WCW did not become WCW.
until
Well,
later
okay, it
on.
didn't
Yeah,
fully become WCW till 1991, even
yeah.
though they had, even though it the so initially what was known as WCW was actually a combination of two former NWA promotions. World Championship Wrestling was built on the off of Jim Crockett Promotions Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling that was based in the Virginia and Carolina area, and Georgia Championship Wrestling, which changed its name to Championship Wrestling in Georgia after Vince McMahon bought out the GCW spot on or time slot on TBS in '84, and then ended up um, and what eventually led to the whole WWF versus WCW war was initially it was something called Black Saturday. Black Saturday was when Vince McMahon, in his quest for national expansion, had bought out the Georgia Championship Wrestling time slot on Saturday night. Okay, that's the time slot a lot of people grew up on. That was eventually on Superstation TBS. Okay, so and what the original agreement was that Vince McMahon was going to produce an in-studio show like they were already doing, just with WWF talent. Um, but instead of doing that, he just showed clips of other of WWF shows from other areas, from other house shows. And the southern wrestling fans were not all too happy about it. The ratings over the next year stunk. You know, Vince McMahon was almost driven out of wrestling because of it, but he had decided in order to make one last gambit, you know, to help fund his first WrestleMania, he sold the time slot back to now after Vince had reneged on his deal. Turner Turner decided to sell other time slots to other promotions. The organization that was known as Georgia Championship Wrestling changed its name to Championship Wrestling from Georgia and started having a show. I think it was on Sunday mornings or something like that, and then the organization known as Mid South Wrestling Association at the time also had a time slot. They bought a time slot on there on Sunday evenings. And eventually, in the war of national expansions, eventually the NWA, which was the main organization, Georgia Championship Wrestling and Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling were both a part of. Um, they basically consolidated into a, and then like in 1985, when after Jim Crockett Promotions bought back the old GCW time slot, the program was changed from Georgia Championship Wrestling to World Championship Wrestling. And then now with that, what ended up happening is Championship Wrestling from Georgia and Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling basically merged into one organization as under Jim Crockett Promotions banner, um, in which what they would do is in which what they would do is they merged into one wrestling organization, and then they started over the next couple of years up through '88, started basically buying out certain promotions that were either going under, like from for about I think like a 5 month span. They'd also had Central States Wrestling, which they eventually had to give up and sell back to Bob Geigel, who would then go on and cut ties with NWA and become World Wrestling Alliance for about a year and a half. They also kind of once Championship Wrestling from Florida and Mid South, which would eventually become the UWF. Once they closed down, they merged with Jim Crockett Promotions, and then in 1988, Ted Turner actually ended up buying out Jim Crockett because they were losing money, and he changed the name of the company to World Championship Wrestling. So that was all that was going on there. Excuse me a moment.
That was a huge information dump.
What was that?
That was a huge information dump. I'm sitting here with my jaw opens like, okay, trying to process. That was pretty cool. So how's chat doing? Let's take a check.
Yeah.
Jonna Stewart. Hello, Jonna. How's it going?
Hey, Jana. I am not her. I am her friend. She has amazing comics, and she wants me to talk about them. I have all. I have. I've seen them all from her grandfather from 1957 with Martin Luther King. Okay. Um. Yeah. Okay.
So it sounds like John wants to talk of comics.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, the link's up there if you'd like to join us in the studio. There's a link if you want to join us in the studio, John. Well, she's saying that she's our friend, so I'll take her word. But if you want to come in and join us, and want to contribute to the conversation, you're more than welcome to.
Join us. We don't bite much. Oops. Accidentally natural laugh there.
We got 3 people in here.
Well, that's good. Did it go up?
Well, yeah, I think with John it went up.
Cool. Join us, Jana. All right. Ooh.
Let's see.
Yep. My wife has suspended my allowance until next month.
Oh, so your wife's the one who
Yeah, because I would whoops. I would go out to toy shows and stuff and I would spend $2,000 in a trip. And I was no longer responsible enough to look after the money in the house, so she took it away from me.
yeah.
I don't blame her.
Well, yeah, well, again, usually from what I've always understood, women tend to handle household management in most homes, as I understand it.
Yeah.
I mean, Jana's friend, if you want to come in and talk and start a conversation about that, you're more than welcome to. The, maybe I'll just put the link up again so that you'll know.
Maybe they left.
It still says 3 people here, but it is possible she could have left.
That sucks. Hopefully, if she did leave, she comes back and we can all
Still
hang
says
out.
3 people though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That was just me with the um just the link back up there to the studio. Yeah, so yeah, because in your neck, if you're right on the border there, then of course you would have probably got a lot of WWF programming. You would have probably got some NWA programming, including, I said, Maple Leaf Wrestling.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it was whatever my dad wanted to watch at the time because we weren't allowed to touch the TV. So when I wanted to watch cartoons, I had to sneak up during the middle of the night and fiddle with the machine and then get yelled at in the morning because it wasn't where he left it. So
Jana will not talk. She made a fool of herself. Laugh out loud, and yes, she did laugh out loud. All right. Well, I think unless well, yeah, I did see her comment on there, and
there was a comment.
it was, well, do you? I don't think were you here when all that was going down a couple weeks ago. Toys.
No, that was the day I missed. And
Okay.
when I went to
Well,
go back and
okay. I'll I'll talk to you about it later if you'll
oh
hang
okay,
out after the
yeah,
show. Let's just say it's something that does need to be handled with a little bit of
oh okay,
discretion. So,
oh, okay,
so I'm not going to bring that up now.
cool.
But um, but anyways, well, I'm sorry to hear. I mean, if you know, again, I know she told me that she was just going to be willing to just hang out and listen, and that's fine too. Um,
That's cool.
that's cool as well. If she, again, though, if she feels that she's, can control herself, and she's more than welcome to try to join the conversation. If she feels that she can't handle it, then sit back and listen, hang out, relax. Um, so, anyways, yeah. So, Yeah, so some, of course, as I said, some of the NWA territories that were right around you there would have included Maple Leaf Wrestling in Toronto. But then, depend. Let's see. Do you remember? Like, okay, so if you don't mind me asking, Toys, and you can refuse this. If you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
Old enough. How old do I look? That's what I always ask people. How old do I look?
Well, how can I tell you? You don't show your actual face on here, so but I was under the impression you were probably like my age or something like that. I'm 45, so I thought maybe that was
I'm
I
close. I'm close. I'm not gonna
yeah
say.
well the only reason I'm asking is to try to get a better idea of how old you were when you were probably again to where I could probably get an idea. But some of the other territories, let's see if based on what you're saying, it sounds like it's probably late 80s. Um,
uh,
Okay, so you said
maybe.
you said your dad pirated a lot of WWF stuff. So who are some of the guys
Oh yeah,
again
but
that
he
you
just.
remember? Huh?
Oh I can't remember. I can't remember names, but I remember there was one guy. He like dressed real flashy. He looked like Ric Flair, but he wasn't Ric Flair. Uh, his his rubber toy looked like if you take all the stuff off it, it looks like Ric Flair, but it's not. Can't remember his name.
Uh,
Oh, I
Buddy
really can't remember.
Landell.
That might be it.
Buddy
Yeah, I have to look
Landell.
it.
He would have been. So he was with. I know he was in
Mm-hmm.
with WCW in the late 80s, early 90s. Um,
Mm-hmm. But they didn't have the giant rubber figures, did they?
yeah, let's see, they might have, but
Yeah,
Buddy Landell would have most likely been. Um, let's see, I know you said Andre the Giant, right?
yeah. That was really cool watching Hulk Hogan pick him up and do a slight body slam. That was amazing.
So you saw that. So that was from 19. That was from WrestleMania 3, which was
Yeah,
1987. So
yeah.
you were watching. So I'm guessing that it was probably 87, 80. Late 80s there,
Well,
mid
that's
to
when
late
I
80s.
started watching, but I was doing other stuff at the time too, like playing a Nintendo and doing stuff like that. I didn't watch a whole lot of TV growing up. I was kicked out of the house and told to go play most of the time.
Yeah, but now I kind of have an idea. So a lot of that would have been so the WWF was continuing its national expansion. Um,
Mm-hmm.
NWA was countering them as well as the AWA. So you would have probably gotten a lot of WWF programming. You would have probably got a lot of WCW programming. Even basically by this point, most of the NWA territories had either kind of had either closed, had become merged with WCW, or there were still like one or two NWA affiliates that were not affiliated with WCW at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, most of the NWA affiliates had merged with Jim Crockett Promotions um, to so it would at that time, of course, that would have been like Ric Flair, Sting. Sting would have been very early on in his career at that point. You had Nikita Koloff. The I think by that point, let's see, I think the four horsemen were Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, Tully Blanchard, and Lex Luger might have been part of the four horsemen at that point. You had Barry Windham, and those were all the NWA guys. A lot of those are the WA guys that WWF is we were talking about was like um, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Million Dollar Man, Ted DiBiase. I think towards the end of '87, Rick Rude had come into the WWF from the NWA. And then the AWA, of course, at the time, Kurt Hennig, I think, was at that point the AWA world champion. He had Larry Zbyszko there as well. Nick Bockwinkel was still kicking around at that point there. I think Tom Zink might have been there too before he and Rick Martel came to the WWF and formed the Can-Am connection. So, yeah, well, now we're up to 4 people, so that's good. We're getting in a few more people. As I said, everybody, if you'd like to join us in here and join the conversation, the link is up there. Just come right on in. So, and the person left again. Okay. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
surprised Batgo didn't show up tonight. I think Third
Well,
Wiki said he'd
he,
be here.
well, he,
So
well, he might come in a little later. I mean, I know he was probably with his family tonight. You know, he's really getting into wanting to. He said he might come in like late. So, but I thank you for joining me. At least now I have somebody to talk to, somebody
okay.
to kind of feed off of. You know, keep the conversation going. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Now you know his original cartoon was done by Filmation, right? You know some of the other cartoons that were done by
Oh, the
Filmation.
vintage cartoon? Yes.
Yeah, there was She-Ra. There was
No, not offhand.
a number of the
Oh
Archie
yeah, I remember
cartoons,
that.
including and some of the comics that were based on
Mm-hmm.
Archie comics,
Yeah.
like Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Groovy Ghoulies, all those. Um, they even had just a set of DC comics back in the '60s.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then in '81 they had Black Star, who had the two swords that
Oh,
kind
the
of
Star Sword
shattered.
that split in two. Yeah,
And he
that
had
was cool.
Brave Star, eyes of the hawk, ears of the wolf. Brave Star, Brave Star, strength of the bear, speed of the puma. Don't know if you saw those, but those are pretty cool cartoons too. I know Brave Star, both Black Star and Brave Star were both part of Saturday mornings in the '80s. They're different ends of the '80s. In fact, the guy who voiced Black Star was, I believe, that was George DeCenzo, who had actually voiced Bo and Hordak in She-Ra. So
Yeah.
you learn something new
The
every
people
day,
that
huh?
made He-Man blamed She-Ra for the loss of He-Man. Yeah.
Can you talk about comics and now how artists are going on
Yeah.
their own way? Um, yeah, I mean, well, we've talked about that before too. Well, yeah, you do see a lot of, I don't talk quite as much about comics Jake, only because it's a negative thing. Yes, we there has been an uptick a lot in independent comics. Like we know Tug, for example, is doing his. He's been doing, he's working on his second comic now, or well, he's promoting and selling his second comic. Um, Another case for the Littlest Umbrella. I know. I heard Yellow Flash will be soon coming out with a comic. And a number of comic pros, including like Ethan Van Sciver with Cyber Frog, and a few others have been doing a lot more independent. I know even Keanu Reeves has gotten into it with a comic called Berserk, and I think there's another publishing company over in England called Boom Studios. They've come out with stuff for like Star Wars and Doctor Who. Um, so yeah, there's been more independent comics, but Jana's friend. If you want to learn a little bit more about the history of comics, should come back tomorrow night because with my co-host Batgo, we're going to be talking about we'll actually be looking at March of 1936 Looking at some comic history there, and of course, three three um, three comics would make their debut. Three publishing companies would make their debut. David McKay, United Features, and Stenchar, and of course, around this time was marking the first appearance of Popeye in a Popeye the Sailor in comic book form. So we'll be looking at that quite a bit. Anyways, I gotta step away from the camera for a moment, guys. So I'll be right back. Act, Toys, if you want to go ahead and promote your channel and what you do, and give people a little bit of an explanation of what you do, you're more than welcome to. So I will be right back. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we're since people want to talk about comics, I've recently gotten out of comics. I enjoyed comics immensely, but I've gotten to that point in my life where I'm no longer interested in comics. So, they were just literally sitting in boxes on my shelf and stuff, just shelf under the bed, in the basement, in the attic. And so what I did is I was just gonna donate them, and my wife's friend came over, and she was talking about how her son loves comics. So I was like, oh really? And what kind of comics does he like? And she was letting me know. She was letting me know, and I said, you know what? Would he like some comics? She said, yeah, I'll take comics. Who would say no to free comics, right? And so I said, all right. And I just told her put up the boot of her car, and she said, all right. And I made a trip. I put one box in, and she said, oh cool. And I was like, oh no, I'm not done. And then I just put just about my entire collection of comics in there. Well, I did put the entire collection, I thought, and then uh last 2 weeks I've been finding oddballs laying around the house that I just picked up and read and put them down and didn't put them away. So I've got a small stack of comics. Let's see. My name is Curtis, and thank you for explaining things. No problem. Welcome, Curtis. I hope we can get you to be a regular. Come in and pop in. Uh, join in with our discussions. Have fun. Talk niche history. Talk niche things. It's always fun. And what might say to share about my channel? Well, I am the Action Toys channel. Go by Toys most of the time, or ATC. And what do? I restore action figures. I make customs. I make 3D models and then print them out. I innovatively restore or retro mod action figures. If you go onto my channel and you check it out, you'll see that I 3D print He-Man parts sometimes, and I'll take a broken figure that's missing the arm peg, and I'll fix it so that it can accept a arm that has the peg already on it, and I can take the figure, split it open, put it in, close it back up, match the paint as best I can, but sometimes isn't always the best. But we get a nice displayable figure, even if it's like an army builder or a beater, just something you put on the shelf and put it in the back so people don't notice that it's all messed up. Which currently is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 8 shelves of just beaters that I've restored, and they look fine. Hey, Lil, how's it going? Mike opened up the broadcast tonight, so if you want to join us, the link is in chat. Hey, y'all. Sorry, I'm a bit quite. I'm driving to work. Hey, Toys and Mike. Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you too, Leto. So you're driving from work? Interesting. I noticed that we don't ever have Leto and anonymity in the chat at the same time. Interesting. Could it be a Clark Kent Superman paradox? Oh, we got some more comments. I wonder where. I wonder where are you, Mike? I miss my beard. Let's see here. So I was talking about comics, what I have left of a collection, and I found a November 16th version of X-Force joins Spider-Man, and it's the special Sideways issue. I don't know if that means anything anymore, but I was like, oh, cool. I was going to start reading it again. I'm not so good with filling the dead air. Oh. So what's everyone doing tonight?
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, so let's. And I already highlighted things. Give the comics to the shelter, okay, and then hey, all, sorry, I'm a bit quiet. I'm driving to work. Hey, Toys and Mike, happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Happy Thanksgiving to you too. I hope you had a good dinner with your family tonight, man. Your wife. I know you said you were working or on your way to work, so that's fine. I put the link up if in the event you wanted to try to come in and chat. I know if you're driving, it's probably not a good idea, anyways. Okay, so yeah, I had to step away from the computer. I did come back for a quick moment because I was waiting on something, but so I did hear some of what you were talking about when you in channel and stuff, and I did,
Oh
yeah,
yes.
and I did highlight that one thing where Curtis, and Curtis, I know even if Jana doesn't want to speak, if you're, if you're on, if you're typing for her, if you're on, you're also welcome to come in and chat as well if you would like. No pressure though. I just, you know, if
Everybody's welcome.
yeah, that's our ultimate goal is make sure everybody feels welcome. Um, yeah, so yeah, one of the things that I've noticed over the when I was doing some of my research on DCU history a bit. Um, well, I've noticed this with other comics too, but there are a few companies like Dell Comics, Gold Key, Charlton did it to a lesser degree. There are a few companies out there that would get into like getting already licensed products and
Mm-hmm.
making comic adaptations of them. I know, like Transformers, for example, was actually they did have a comic book. The G1 Transformers had a comic book that was published by Marvel back in the '80s. So don't know if you knew that or not, but uh,
Oh, Curtis said he'd join us in the channel. Cool.
okay. So because I'll just in case you need it again, I'll go ahead the link up so you know. So there's the link if you want to join us, Curtis. I'll just figured put it back up there for you. So all you got to do is just click that link, and then you should show up here on my StreamYard screen pretty quickly there. ATC
My kids are
is
arguing.
okay. Yeah, I hear some noises in the background. I guess as we wait for Curtis, let's see.
Would you want to
Oh, wow, we're
begin
up to
thralling
5
with
people
more
now.
tales of mine?
Huh?
Oh, that's cool. Oh no, I was just trying to fill the air.
Hmm.
Oh,
Got 5 people. You know. Of course, for all we know, maybe what Curtis meant was he would subscribe to the channel too. That he join the. So maybe he wasn't talking as much about joining the chat, just more like joining us in the studio. But,
oh, still cool.
yeah, yeah. So yeah. So anyways, as we wait for it, let's see what else can we talk about here. Yeah, I noticed as I said we are talking quite a bit about like Animaniacs over the last couple of days.
Oh goodness.
Also, one of the other articles I read yesterday was
Ow.
about Al. Is something wrong there?
Oh, I had a feedback in the headset.
Oh, wow, we're actually over and out the hour mark already.
Cool.
I kind of like it when I get lost in conversation like that, to where the time just starts to fly like that. That's what
Yeah.
Now imagine if we get more than just 1 or 2 people, and we could get like the full complement of 10 people in here. That would be something. Um,
Oh, I could just imagine that many people.
yeah, I mean, managing that conversation would be quite an interesting thing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's 10 o'clock for you, ain't it?
Huh?
It's 10 o'clock for you, right?
For me, no. It's only 8 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock where you're at, I think, though, right?
No, it's 11 o'clock here because we had
11 o'clock.
daylight saving time or something.
Yeah. I'm in California, so
Oh, okay.
I'm on the West Coast. So, um, well, West Coast in the states. I know the West Coast for you would be British Columbia.
Yeah.
Wow, we're up to 6 people now. Yay, 6 people. Okay, so yeah, I remember. Everybody shout! Come on, let's hang out. It's time for the groovies get together. You're gonna see how funny they can be. Well, time for the groovy ghoulies show. Do 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 do. Hmm. Yeah, and then of course Archie also had another cartoon in the '90s, Archie's Weird Mysteries too, where they kind of took those meddling kids theme from the Hanna-Barbera cartoons of the '60s and '70s, and kind of did their own with Archie and his group. I don't know. Did you ever see Archie's Weird Mysteries? Um, ATC?
The cartoon
Yeah,
or the comics?
the
The
cartoon
cartoon, yeah.
Archie's Weird Mysteries.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Question: when was Beach Blanket Bingo a thing?
Beach Blanket Bingo. That was from back in the '60s. I think Beach Blanket Bingo was actually a Frankie and Annette movie, I believe, from back in the '60s.
But
And
it
in the
turned
six,
into a TV series, right?
well, I can
I,
find
I,
out for you. I'm gonna find out for
yeah.
you right
I
now. Then,
remember watching that. I remember watching it as a kid. I was like, oh. Never mind. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
okay. Okay, Beach Blanket Bingo is an American International Pictures beach party film released in 1965 and was directed by William Asher. It is the fifth film in the Beach Party film series. The film stars Frankie Avalon, Annette Funicello, Linda Evans, Deborah Valley, Paul Lind, and Don Rickles. Earl Wilson and Buster Keaton also appear. So Evans' singing voice was dubbed by Jackie Ward. So basically, yeah. Beach Swing and Bingo was a movie. Actually, it was
Oh,
part of a set of movies,
okay.
beach party movies that starred Frankie and Annette, Frankie Avalon
Yeah,
and Annette Funicello.
yeah.
So, so you probably saw the movie.
Oh, okay. Oh. My favorite one was
Um,
Vincent Price, the one where Vincent Price was in it. And all he did was
yeah.
the pit, and then that was it.
Well, the interesting thing about Vincent Price too is Vincent Price actually lent his voice to a Scooby Doo cartoon, the 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo. Vincent Price was
Yeah,
the
and they
voice
had
of Vincent
Scrappy.
Van Gogh.
Yeah,
Um, and he has,
he
of
really
course,
just played himself in that cartoon.
essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
But of course, he was known throughout like the horror movie genre for portraying a number of different characters. You know,
Mm.
so
I say
but,
the one I liked the most was the Raven that he played in. It was a comedy horror styled show with magic in it. It was fun. I thought it was fun
was
anyways.
it based on Edgar Allan Poe's poem? You
I never
know,
read Edgar Allan Poe's poem, but I know it was recited in the beginning of the movie and towards
uh,
the end.
okay. Quote the Raven nevermore. And of
Yeah.
course, Scott Levy took on the ring name Raven. During when he got to ECW and eventually throughout the latter part of his career, after going through a number of other ring names, including Scotty the Body, Scott Anthony, Johnny Polo in the WWF, and then eventually settled on Raven.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so. And of course, we know there's also the DC comic character Raven of Astaroth,
Oh yeah.
uh, which kind of reminds me of the 2000s cartoon. You know, and of course, in the 2000s cartoon, she was voiced by Tara Strong, I believe. Um,
Oh, the Attack Teen Titans
yeah,
stuff.
Teen Titans.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Tara Strong did Raven's voice, and then you had Hendon Walsh who did Starfires. Um, let's see, Robin was voiced by Scott Menville, I believe. Let's see, Greg Sykes did Beast Boy, and Kari Payton did Cyborg. Um, and I know they had a more recent reboot of that. Well, I don't know if it's a reboot or a continuation, Teen Titans Go, which was more comedy centric.
Oh, yeah. Teen Titans Go was terrible.
Well, I mean, they went a different direction than the original. The original series was probably more action oriented, but this one was more. Granted, I didn't watch a whole lot of the episodes of Teen Titans Go,
Hmm.
but
Yeah, my youngest loves Teen Titans Go.
yeah.
So I
Well,
end
I
up
mean, it
watching
is
it.
a bit more cartoony. It's a bit more comedic.
Yeah.
So
Every time I look at it, though, all I see is that Thundercats roar. I was like, oh.
hear the magic, feel the roar. Thundercats are loose from the original 1980s Rankin Bass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe Curtis meant that he was going to subscribe to the channel, so maybe that's what he meant when he said he joined the channel. Oh, here we go. I honestly do not know about wrestling. I just know her collection. She has the Comic Fellowship of Reconciliation for USA. Do you know it? Actually, no, I don't. I haven't heard of that before.
Ooh,
I've done a
someone's
lot of
got
my
something you
comic
don't know.
research on my own, so um, but Jana did tell us before about the collection she had. I know she said she grew up reading a lot of comics with her grandfather, so I'm aware that she has mentioned that before. Um, you know, again, we'll probably be talking more comics, more classic comics tomorrow night when I go through the retrospect. So tonight was just meant more as kind of chill night, with it being a holiday and stuff like that. But I'm glad to see that we have 5 people in here. I'm thankful for everybody being here and participating. Whoa, what happened to ATC there? Got cut off. Uh, Hold on a second. Let me just do something here. See what happened. Oh, there we go. Oh, I
On my keyboard and I touched something.
You're gonna have to repeat it because I accidentally muted you when I saw you came back. So as I was
Oh,
trying
okay.
to get you back in the studio here, can you repeat what you just said?
Oh, I just said I boomered it when I leaned forward and I rested my arm on my keyboard and then it shot me off somewhere else.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
no problem. I'm like going, where'd he go?
I was like, why did he stop talking? And I looked down. I'm like, oh, I'm resting my arm on the keyboard.
Uh, yeah, well, we're at the hour and 17-minute mark here. Was there anything else you wanted to ask, Toys, or anything else you wanted to bring up?
I'm pretty good. Oh, Mike. I wanted to ask if you wanted to join a Facebook group I'm in. It's called the Main Event Collectors. It's like a little conglomerate of us small YouTubers that get together and we promote each other.
Hmm.
Check it out.
I'll check it out. The thing is, I don't join as many groups only because I know with the way I am, sometimes I don't always follow through. I mean, it's hard to
Oh, that's
keep up on
fine.
all the subscriptions I have too with YouTube, you know. But
Yeah.
what's it called?
Main Event Collectors.
Main Event Collectors. I'll try to check it out at least and
Yeah.
see what's up. Um, Most of the time, even though I've been sharing a lot of stuff on Facebook, the only thing other than sharing I've been doing is just playing games on there. But I'll check it out at least to um, see what's up with it at some point. uh, yeah. So um, let's see. So, and I think, oh yeah, one of the other things that we covered this week too was the whole thing with the spider. There are a couple of interesting stories I read about Spider-Man and his amazing friends this past week. One where one writer called it the horniest cartoon of all time. Did you see that?
Yeah, I was here and I listened to that.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah. I was like,
And then
ooh.
yesterday, they came out and said that show is being that episode is being shown on I guess Netflix or whatever, but they're putting a warning on it that about
Oh
because
my
they
gosh.
say it's offensive to Jeff. And I remember Anonymity, who said he was half Asian, had some interesting things to say about it. Um,
They're gonna put a warning on anything that's pre-2020 at this point. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because it's like without taking into account like historical context, the time it was, and the fact is that nobody really thought much of it. Okay, it does kind of remind me of the band cartoons from back when, because like if you can go if you type in band cartoons, right,
hmm
you'll find a number of cartoons that were made in the 40s that are now banned. Like one of them was a Popeye cartoon called "You're a Sap, Mister Jap," and that,
I remember watching those. Those were fun.
yeah, actually Curtis I think just said something here. I'm here with her. Do you want to chat or let it go? Well, I put the link up a few times already. I thought you were going to be in by now. All you have to do is just click the link. But at this point, Curtis, we're coming. We're already at the hour and 20-minute mark. I'm actually going to probably start winding down a bit here because I usually just run hour and a half to two, or try to run an hour and a half to 2 hours. We're already kind of well into the stream here, so I'm probably gonna. So for now, I guess we'll just let it go because at this point, I'm gonna probably start winding it down pretty soon here. Um, all right. In fact, maybe I'll just unless there's anything else you want to add or ask or bring up, toys. I think maybe it would be a good time to start um winding down a bit.
Oh, okay. No, I'm good.
All right. And if you can stick around
Yeah.
after I go off live, so we can talk for a couple minutes.
Oh, okay.
Um, okay, so is everybody ready for this day in Nietzsche history?
Yeah.
And since you're here with me, ATC, you can go ahead and give your own commentary on these as well. So let me just do a little preview work here. Just remind myself of which order to put it in. And I usually try to put it in chronological order. So, all right. So, about to do the screen share here. Oh, wait a minute. See, I think Curtis just. Okay, all good. Thank you. And have a great day. Okay, well, thank you for dropping in, Curtis.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you for being here. Thank you, Curtis and Jenna. You guys are awesome. Come back anytime.
all right. So let me just. All right. So here we go. So the first. So today being November 26, 2020. Let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. And then Leto saying, sure, there. Okay. So let's go ahead. So on this day, back in 1995, which is 25 years ago, from the Norfolk Scope in Norfolk, Virginia, WCW held its World War III pay-per-view, 1995. In the main event of the card, of course, Randy Savage won the 3-ring 60-man battle royal to win the vacant WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Also on the card um, Kensuke Sasaki retain the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship uh, over Chris Benoit. Johnny B. Bad would retain the WCW World Television Championship against Diamond Dallas Page. This was, of course, before the whole bang phenomenon that came a couple years later. Also on the card, you saw Sting defeat Ric Flair in one of their many classic matches. Lex Luger defeat Randy Savage. You saw in a women's tag match, Bull Nakano and Akira Hokuto with Sonny Ono in their corner to defeat Mayumi Ozaki and Cutie Suzuki. And then you also had Big Bubba Rogers defeat Jim Duggan in a tape fist match. Two tough guys from formerly with the WWF who are now WCW. So on this date, 25 years ago, World War III, in which Randy Savage would win the WCW World Heavyweight Championship by winning the three-ring 60-man battle royal at World War III. So anything you want to say about that, ATC?
No, I'm good.
All
I
right,
like hearing Mike talk.
all right, we'll move on to the next bit of niche history then. Which will be this one right here. Um, on this date in 1997, 23 years ago today, the 460th issue of Incredible Hulk went on sale on newsstands. The story Homecoming, written by Peter A. David, penciled by Adam Kubert, ink done by Mark Farmer, with lettering done by John E. Workman Jr. and Lovern um, Kin Kinzerski doing the coloring. Incredible Hulk, of course, started out as Tales to Astonish. This is actually volume 2 of the. As there was a volume 1, but only lasted for 6 episodes. And but this is volume 2 of Incredible Hulk, issue number 460. Um, Came out on this date 23 years ago. Cover date of January 1998. So that happened on this date 23 years ago. And now, last but not least, for today, on this date 10 years ago, in 2010, G.I. Joe Renegades and Young Justice would both premiere on this date 10 years ago today. G.I. Joe Renegades would run for one season on the Hub. Young Justice debuted on Cartoon Network, lasted for a couple of seasons, then and just within the last year, started up again on this date in 2000, or started up again last year. So on this date in 2010, GI Joe Renegades and Young Justice would both would both premiere on this date in 2010. So with that, guys, I would like to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow night I'll have Backgoat in with me to go over some comics history. We'll be looking back at March of 1936 with some impressive debuts and cover some other stuff from the time period. So until then, guys, and I hope to see you back tomorrow night. Bye. And ATC, if you can stick around with me here for